Hello everyone, welcome to Ekam IAS Academy. My name is VIJAY Kumar. So in this particular short video, we are going to just see the introduction related with how the monsoon would be created. So generally for understanding monsoon, you have to understand about 5 typical key terms in the geography, where geography is meant to understand related with key terms and key concepts. First, let me introduce what the concept of monsoon is. So monsoon is generally an Arabic term which is derived from a concept or word called as mausam, which is nothing but season or shifting of winds. So whenever the winds would be shifting and they create the change in season, that concept we are taking it as monsoon. So here we will generally see that this is Tropic of Cancer, this is Equator, this is Tropic of Capricorn. In general, what happens is like southeastern trade winds and northeastern trade winds. We will be having generally trade winds which are moving from subtropical high pressure belts to equatorial low pressure belts. So why we would be having the movement of this particular wind systems from subtropical high pressure belt to low pressure belt is under pressure gradient force. So from the high pressure zones, generally the winds tend to attract towards the low pressure zones. In this regard, along the subtropical regions, we have high pressures in north and south. So in this location of equator, maximum times we will be experiencing low pressure because of intense insolation. The warm air masses rising up will result into formation of equatorial low pressure belts. So for maximum time of an year, equator would be experiencing equatorial low pressure belt, and this equatorial low pressure belt is given up with one nickname, and that nickname is called as Intertropical Convergence Zone. Why this equatorial low pressure belt is considered as an Intertropical Convergence Zone is, as I have mentioned, equatorial low pressure belt is on equator for maximum time of an year, not the entire year. So during certain instances like summer solstice or during certain instances like winter solstice, what do you mean by summer solstice here is when the sun's insolation fall directly on Tropic of Cancer, that particular phenomena would be called as summer solstice. These are generally basics of geography which we have. So during the summer solstice phenomena, we would be having the maximum insolation during the month of June falling on Tropic of Cancer. So then what happens is, rather than equator, the low pressure tends to develop onto the Tropic of Cancer. The low pressures are generally present near the equator itself. But during summer solstice, this low pressure shifts to Tropic of Cancer. During winter solstice, this shifts near to the Tropic of Capricorn. So due to this shifting nature of this low pressure which is present at the equator, we are giving a nickname to it or a term to it called as Intertropical Convergence Zone. So now let's assume what is happening here during summer solstice. So as everyone know, during summer solstice, the low pressure has shifted here. That means ITCZ has shifted towards the Tropic of Cancer. Then the winds which are coming from the southern direction, which are generally southeastern trade winds, now they are not accumulating the low pressure, or now they are not experiencing the low pressure near the equator. So as everyone know, winds have to move from high pressure to low pressure area under the pressure gradient force. The southeastern trade winds, what they would be doing is, generally they tend to move towards low pressure conditions. In order to move towards low pressure conditions, the southeastern trade winds, they cross the equator. And once these southeastern trade winds, when they cross the equator, under the Coriolis force, they deflect rightward. So generally now you have to understand what is a keyword called as Coriolis force. The force which is created because of rotation of earth is called as Coriolis force. So due to that rotation nature of earth, the force which would be generated, that force makes the winds to deflect rightward in northern hemisphere leftward in southern hemisphere. Generally, we would be having the deflection of winds. Wind has to move in a straight way, right? But they deflect right in north, deflect left in south. Reason behind it is Coriolis force. So we have to go deeper into Coriolis force for understanding every concept. But as of now, in this video, we are related to monsoon, so no need to focus much on Coriolis force. Just remember that these particular winds which are present, they are crossing the equator, and in order to move towards low pressure, they are crossing. But once they cross, under Coriolis force, these winds deflect rightward. And when these winds deflect rightward, they are now southwest trades. Now these southwest trades, they catch the moisture from Indian Ocean. Any wind bypassing the water body, it will catch the moisture. They convert themselves as southwest monsoon. So in this way, these southwest monsoons, in order to move into the low pressure, move towards this particular ITCZ, these winds tend to catch the moisture and enter into India, and they enter somewhere in the month of June, around in the first or second week of June, creating orographic precipitation over here. So what do you mean by orographic rainfall? Orographic rainfall refers to any wind which is obstructed by the mountain. That particular wind tends to raise upwards. When it raises and it condenses and creates cloud formation, that is also next concept which we will see in another video. And with that, these monsoonal winds enter into India and create different rainfalls in different variabilities across India. So this is what generally happens, how the monsoon enters into India. Now a question raises, thinking point raises. The thinking point is it permanent? No, it is seasonal. So when during the September, when this ITCZ moves back to its original position, all the monsoonal winds which have entered into India from Arabian Sea side and Bay of Bengal side, they tend to move along back with that ITCZ. So that particular concept of reversal of monsoon is called as retreating monsoon. With southwest monsoon, we will be having huge rainfalls in India. But once the monsoon starts reversing back, we won't experience any precipitation regarding with that. So that is the second season which we would be having, that is northeast monsoon season, or we will be calling it as retreating monsoon. So whenever you read monsoon, please try to understand these 5 typical terms, and whenever you write any answer related with monsoon, 3 aspects, make sure that these 3 keywords are present in it. Monsoons will be having sudden onset, gradual progress and gradual retreat. So monsoons enter very suddenly, that concept is called as monsoon burst, and once they enter, they move gradually. Once they move gradually, when they move back, when they return back, they will also return back very gradually. So this is the entire fundamental which is present along with monsoon. So if you want more and more such videos, please do like this, share this and subscribe this. So that please do drop whatever videos you want. Drop your video choices in the comment section. We will make it for you. Thank you for watching this. Please subscribe to this Ekam IAS channel. You will be finding more and more videos. Thank you. Jai Hind.